We have some speakers. Our first is the president of the Playboy Entertainment Group, Tony Lynn. Where are you, Tony?
It's great to see that Ed and Henry and Harvey and Jeff are actually here in person. Nice touch, guys. Robert, I want to thank you for mentioning the name Strauss-Zelnick. I've always been a Strauss-Zelnick fan. Strauss to me means one thing: you can never be too rich or too thin. Harvey, by the way, you can never be too rich. Also, Robert, I appreciate you mentioning Michael Bleep Bleep, because I had him worked into my speech as well, and what I wanted to say to Michael was, I don't care where you're working, I don't care what you're doing, I'm still afraid of you. In our industry, that's a profound compliment, as you know. As John Dolgen would say, and he probably says on his tape, so I'll scoop him, a friend in Hollywood is someone who won't cross the street to hurt you. Who are we talking about here today? Oh, Steve Scheffer, of course. Steve was born in New York City and graduated from Forest Hills High. Not much is known of his early years. Matter of fact, no one seems to know exactly what he did for his first 17 years on the planet. Oddly enough, the same is true of his 17 years at HBO. No one is willing to state, on the record at least, just what the hell he's been doing there since 1980. Fortunately, thanks to the Military Freedom of Information Act, I've been able to learn a lot about Steve's Navy career. After payment of an untraceable hard money campaign donation, Steve was nominated by his congressman to the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis. He quickly earned a reputation there as a high-tech guy, and he was put to work supervising the mothballing of several non-strategic, out-of-date fleets. This experience would later come in handy in his dealings with companies like Allied Artists, Canon Films, and Savoy Pictures. His summer tours of duty while a midshipman were the stuff of legend. In freshman year, he led a successful invasion of the beaches of Cannes, where he and his classmates occupied the Carlton Hotel, top floor, by the way, until the fall semester, when the hotel was able to rent out their rooms at exorbitant prices to the first ever MIPCOM attendees. Showing great promise in both technology, did you know that Steve has a degree in marine engineering? I didn't know that until I got the Freedom of Information. He was an unbilled technical advisor to Kevin Costner on Waterworld. No one knows that. Anyway, Steve showed great promise. Remember, these were the Eisenhower years, and people were a little bit less picky back then. For example, if you could play golf, you got to be president. But Steve showed promise in technology and entertainment, so he caught the eye of Admiral Elmo Zumwalt, who put him in charge of a nuclear sub for his sophomore summer. Steve created and programmed the world's first 24-hour underwater movie service, Subramax, which was a huge success until negotiations with the studios forced him to, negotiating problems, Sid Sheinberg, forced him to air the film Run Silent, Run Deep for 26 consecutive days. Unrest among the enlisted men forced an emergency helicopter evac for Steve. Picture Alec Baldwin's arrival scene in Red October, played in reverse. And that's how Steve had to get out of there. It taught him a valuable lesson, which remains his mantra even today. Never meet or talk to a subscriber or an employee. Steve, unfortunately, this room is full of both of them, so you can either avoid eye contact or allow me to introduce you to your staff. Many of them are hardworking, simple people who came here today hoping to meet you in the hat check line. As for the subscribers, let's just hope we can both outrun them. Steve went on to 4 relatively undistinguished years of active duty. He served as officer of the deck on the USS Wasp, and this is really scary, he was the guided missile officer on the USS Albany. It was his performance in this job that accelerated the Pentagon's spending in the development of smart missiles. Alas, all good things must come to an end, and while classmate Roger Staubach went on to the Dallas Cowboys, Steve, by now married to Lenora but unwilling to work for a living, went to Harvard for his MBA. Not the Master's in Business Administration that is held in such high regard in our industry, an experimental interdisciplinary degree called Master of Bicoastal Ambiguity. You know, one of the proudest moments of my life was when I was able to introduce my mentor to my boss, and it went something like this. Chef, Half. They love each other. These two guys are so tight. Steve, Half has pulled out all the stops for you today. No, he's not here. He wouldn't leave the mansion. What, are you crazy? But he did ask me to bring with me the cover of the next issue of Playboy magazine. And I'll read it to you. It says, Steve and Lenore Scheffer, America's sexiest couple. HBO, it's not TV, so what the hell is it?